So, I was just wondering, I have a very good day. I mean, this is one of the greatest days in my year, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm very chilled and happy. And at first I was thinking that, I had the vibe to make a video, but I really didn't feel any urge to share anything. And at first I was thinking that about maybe if I feel really great, I don't want to share anything. And I thought, okay, then maybe I will share this, just to fulfill my slight desire to make a video. But I was just walking by the streets, and something just caught up my mind, and I had a flow. So I just decided that I will tell you this, and it was about, I think it will be something very controversial. So I feel some, not anxiety, but very, very, very slightly tiny little bit of something like an anxiety, because I know that this can be very controversial. But let's see. So I was thinking about my very deep happiness and calm and peace today is coming from something like I had a serious I'm searching for the word. So I had a few weeks in which I had some serious freedom achievements. So I just achieved a new level of freedom, I mean in my soul, but definitely also in my physical life, because I just exited from my current official workplace. So only my coaching and my own business, which is in a very low profile right now. I mean, I work just a little. I have some clients who I like a lot, and I work with them only, and I don't do any sales or marketing stuff because I don't like that. And and this is about. So this is the thing. I thought that my really deep peace and happiness right now is coming from the last few weeks releases. I mean, I just released a lot of things which I didn't like, and it was scary. It was also scary and sad a little bit to quit from my gym workplace, because I like that actually, but I also felt that this is a constraint, and a lot of the times I just didn't want to go in to the gym to hold my classes, my personal trainings. And in the last few weeks I just gathered some courage to just release these things, release all this fear. I just exited and quitted and released from anything which I didn't like so much. And I also have an idea for a long time actually, that what would happen if I just did only things which I really like in the moment. And that is why it is very controversial, I think, because it sounds like, at first it can sound like totally reckless and so it sounds like a person who is like a child, who is not reliable at all, who is not I don't remember the word, but when you fulfill your duties, you are responsible. So it sounds like the total opposite of responsibility, which is maybe an important thing, of course, especially for your beloved ones. But I think in the last few weeks I thought and I experienced such things, that what if this is the biggest lie of humanity? What if this is the biggest lie on earth, that we connect adulthood with that kind of responsibility. We say that we have to do things which are not good, which feel bad, and this is life, and it has to be like this. So it is a very common, I wouldn't say wisdom, because maybe this is just the biggest lie on earth, but this is a very familiar topic or phrase or philosophy, that we as a human have to do things which feels very shitty. And well, I'm just experimenting, what if I don't do things which feels like shit to me. And actually this is not even a few weeks. I think it started silently, I think maybe in the last 2 years, but it was escalating or improving very slowly. But in the last few weeks, which is probably, I think I had hepatitis A in Egypt, which was in the end of March, and yeah, my symptoms started at April 17th of April, yeah. So it is 3 months from now, and yeah, when I had the most serious symptoms of the hepatitis, which is an inflammation of the liver, and it was very serious for myself. So it was a very so I had very serious symptoms. My liver almost just stopped. I was even in the hospital. So I think that experience just flipped something in myself, and it was just accelerating this process, which started, I think, maybe approximately 2 years ago. So I just, actually I felt I will die with the hepatitis stuff, actually, before I knew the diagnosis, because after I just knew the diagnosis, hepatitis A is not a very serious disease. I mean, symptoms can be very extremely uncomfortable, and in my case, my liver almost stopped. But anyway, hepatitis A is not a fatal stuff usually, so I had only very little chance to die. But there were some days when I just didn't know the diagnosis yet, because we had to wait for the diagnosis from the results from the laboratory. And yeah, in those days, sometimes I felt I will probably die, and I think that was the life-changing moment of course, which is not very so it is not very surprising. Yeah, and the positive stuff from this, I thought I will die, just remained with me, and in the last few weeks, which is months, actually, just 3 months, I was starting to let things go, release all my fears and stuff, which I just started many years ago, actually. But and I was talking I was talking very much in this channel about my fears and release of my fears. But in this last 3 months was totally different, because I just released, I don't know how to say it, but yeah, I started to really do only things I like, and I started to say only things what I really liked to say, and not pleasing people, even my wife and my relatives, my family. So I just started to become much more true than any time in my life, which is something very big thing, because all of my friends and my crowds and my environments taught me as a very direct person who is very self-identical, which was most of the times very uncomfortable for my environment, but at least they admired me because of this. So actually in the last 3 months I just skyrocketed in this stuff, being even more and more and more self-identical. Every moment I was trying to do only things. Actually, at first, the biggest issue and the biggest challenge was just determine what I really feel and think in that exact moment, because it is not very trivial. So when I was just starting this, the most problematic thing was just determine in the moment what I really want to do, what I really want to say, what I really feel, what I really think, because thoughts and feelings just changing and changing so frequently, especially at least in myself. I don't know whether it is a very common stuff amongst the people, but I was just listening to my thoughts, my feelings, and even the release of even the desire to be the 100% true for myself was just something like a distraction in the moment. So it just changed the way I feel and the way I thought immediately. So every time I was just thinking, okay, I feel something very uncomfortable, I really don't want to do something which I think I have to do, so just stop and figure out what I really want to do, and because of what, which feeling, which thought. And in the first times, and it took me some weeks, I think, the most difficult stuff and task was just calm down myself and figuring out what is real and what is not in amongst my thoughts and feelings. And I think this day is great because I think I have a few consecutive days in which I felt almost total freedom. I mean, it is like just to my inside, because in my outside world I was very free in the last year or so, because I just not a year, actually it was half year ago when I finally stopped working in the IT, and it was a very big deliberation, but yeah, in the last few days was just extremely free mentally and in my soul. So I just didn't feel any tension at all almost the whole days. Yeah, I had some and about responsibility and stuff, I think doing shitty and very bad things are not related with responsibility at all. So in the last few days, for example, I just took my daughter to my home village where I grew up, and I took her for the whole day alone, I mean without my wife, and I just gave to my wife a complete free day, which is kind of a very hard task for myself, because our child is 2.5 years old, and she can be very, very hard. I mean, she can behave in a very strange way, so it is quite very hard for one person to handle her stuff the whole day. And I didn't even meet people to help me handle my child's extra desires or so, because she is yeah, sure, so she needs attention, a lot of attention. And yeah, I was just scrambling in myself, but it is because I start to be tired from actually conveying my thoughts in English, which are quite not in an everyday topic. Yeah, I just started to be tired, so I just round up and I finish this video. What I want to say is that I was able to give freedom to my wife by taking my child to my hometown, old village, for a whole day, and we were just getting back to home in the late night. And yeah, actually I was playing with my daughter all day, but this came from really just out of freedom and fun. So, and yeah, actually there were moments when I didn't want to do something which she really wanted to do, and I insisted to the thing that when I felt that okay, this is something really important in myself, to not doing that thing, I was just with the biggest love I had, I was just smiling to my daughter and told her that okay, sorry, but right now we will not do this. And surprisingly, it was kind of okay, even though she can be very, very harsh and very I don't know the word, but very maybe hysteric. I don't know if whether hysteric, I think. So she can cry and yell and fight for what she want to do. But this time, I think with this almost 100% purity of my mental and spiritual freedom, but without any aggression or harmful behavior from my side, it just worked out. And the whole day was just, completely free and kind of calm. And even my biomarkers, my heart rate and HRV was great. So it was just not just a subjective experience, even though I think subjective experiences are much more important in a person's life. Because if you feel yourself very shitty all the time, but your biomarkers and all the medical stuff are great, it just doesn't worth it, I think. Yeah, but anyway, it was an alignment. So my biomarkers were great, even greater than any time in my last half year, because I was in a serious overtraining syndrome based on my biomarkers. I think it was also related to the hepatitis symptoms, but it started before that, and it was because of my serious burnout. Which is, I think maybe this is just in the very end of my serious burnout, I hope, but we will see. Okay, so I just rounded up. So the thing I just wanted to say with this last painful 8 minutes was that I was more free than I was ever in my life in this last few weeks, and especially in the last few days. And my environment just didn't seem to be chaotic or sad or worrying or anything like that. So every energies around me was just calmer and calmer as I went totally free. So and that is why I had this thought: what if this philosophy, this idea of we humans have to do very bad feeling, suck and shitty things, maybe this is the biggest lie on earth. I actually don't know, because of course I am only one person, and maybe I am just very lucky to have a situation in which I can do this, and the results are good. But deeply in myself, I just feel something that this is true. I mean, I feel we don't have to do shitty things. And it is not about all the hard things are shitty. I think maybe it can be true that we sometimes we should do some very hard things, but I feel it doesn't have to be shitty. It doesn't have to feel shitty. Okay, I just become confused a little bit. So that's it.